Hey guys, welcome to Fascial's Holiday Nervous System Reset. And this is day one, and I am so excited that you're here with us. I love talking about the fascial system and our connective tissue. And so day one is all about fascial release and just really letting everything melt away. I love using this little ball. You can also use a foam roller. So I have both of these tools. These are the two tools that I highly recommend if you're going to do any sort of fascial work with the fascial tissue and system in mind. The foam roller that I like to use is a medium density foam roller, and that just means that it's not super abrasive. It's going to be a little more focused on releasing that connective tissue versus like really getting into those like tight muscles. So that is an option, but I want to do today with this little ball. I love this ball. You can use it on just so much more in the body and really pinpoint specific areas of tightness and discomfort. But so what I want to do starting out with today is we are going to sit on the ball. And I like to sit crisscross on the ball. You can sit also if that's a little bit too much for you. You can also sit on the ball like this to where you can kind of release a little bit of that impact. But if you're sitting crisscross applesauce, it just allows you to really relax and release, and it takes a little bit off of those knees as well. But I tend to like to sit on the ball for about 4 minutes, and so I'm gonna explain kind of why as we sit on the ball, but I want you to focus, as I am sitting here explaining some things, I want you to focus on just trying to relax as much as you can into this ball. We are sitting on this ball for the pelvic floor. And so with the pelvic floor in mind, a lot of the times we just hold so much tension in our pelvic floor and we just don't even realize it. And so one of my favorite ways to start kind of tackling that pelvic floor tightness is by sitting on a fascial release ball or a myofascial ball. And sitting on here and just allowing your body to relax, it really does help kind of release the tissue around the pelvic floor muscles, but then also release those muscles as well. And so what you'll notice is your sit bones, you might feel a little bit more space between, you might be able to feel a little bit more activation in that pelvic floor once we get off of the ball. And that is the whole mindset behind this, is really trying to get that pelvic floor to be in a functional state. So our breath work, and we have on one of the days coming up, we have breath work that I like to focus on, which is bottom up breathing. But I like to release the pelvic floor before I do any sort of breath work, and release even the rib cage and the diaphragm and the thoracic spine. So that way we can really truly focus on getting the most mobility out of that breath work and the most benefit out of that breath work. And so that's what we're gonna do today. Our pelvic floor and our diaphragm work synergistically together. So as we inhale, that diaphragm comes out, that pelvic floor relaxes and lowers. And as we exhale, that diaphragm comes back into the rib cage as the pelvic floor contracts and lifts. So it's this like synergistic relationship that we really need to have in order for things to function correctly. It is all about that intra-abdominal pressure in our core canister. So if we have a diastasis recti, if you have pelvic floor dysfunction, if you just battle bloating and things like that, a lot of the times really focusing on that synergistic relationship between the pelvic floor and the diaphragm and managing this pressure, this intra-abdominal pressure, will help relieve those symptoms and help get you on that healing path. So typically I like to sit on here for 4 minutes. You can do this daily, and it is, I mean, the more you do it, it is super beneficial. But then what I like to do is from here, I like to then go ahead and we're gonna lay down on the floor, and you're gonna put the ball or your foam roller, whichever one, you're gonna put the ball underneath your sacrum or underneath kind of the back of your hips. To start out with, I like to do little pelvic tilts. And so we're gonna tilt down towards the floor or in front of this ball, and then you're gonna tilt towards the rib cage. So you inhale as you lower down, exhale as you tuck it towards the rib cage. And I just tend to do a couple here, and we're releasing the back of the hips. We're releasing that sacrum and this pelvis area. And so if you have low back pain, if you have any sort of discomfort, this helps with that, relieving that pressure and that tension. And then typically I'll come back and I like to drop my right hip down over the ball and drop the left hip down. And you'll notice sometimes you might feel a little bit of tugging or tightness or stickiness on one side versus the other. And that's common, but this is why we're doing this, so that we can kind of release that stickiness. And just rock side to side, dropping the hip over the ball, trying to again release the back of the pelvis. And we'll do one more on each side. And on the other side. And then come back to that center position. We're gonna lift the hips up off. You can continue even doing the circles around that ball. Like, it just feels really, really good. But for time's sake, we're gonna put this now behind the thoracic spine, so kind of where your bra strap would go. And then we're gonna bring our hands behind our head to support the neck. And then as you inhale, you're gonna lower all the way over that ball. And as you exhale, you're gonna lift the head, neck, and chest up. And then we'll do that 4 more times. Inhale as you lower, and exhale as you lift. So this is really creating a lot more openness in the front of the body, but we're also working on decongesting that thoracic spine and the back of the body to allow more openness in the shoulders. And let's do 2 more. Inhale as you lower down. Exhale as you press and lift up. You're using that core to lift your body up. Last one, we're gonna hold it down here. We're gonna side bend over to the right. Come back through the center as you inhale. Exhale as you side bend over to the left. So we're getting that good lateral flexion or lateral stretch on each side, but we're also decongesting that thoracic spine in between those shoulder blades. This is where we hold a lot of tension, is in the upper shoulders. And let's do 1 more on each side. Inhale through the center, exhale. And then we're gonna come back through the center. See if you can lower your head. You can even release your arms out if that feels comfortable to you. Otherwise, keep your hands behind your head. And I want you just to take a nice deep inhale in. And exhale all the air out. Feel that stretch in the front of that rib cage. Inhale in. And exhale. Go ahead, bring your hands behind your head. And then we're gonna lift our hips up off of the floor. So now we're kind of one nice long line here. We're gonna then shift our weight and roll towards our top of the shoulders, and then roll back down towards the bottom of the rib cage. So now we're kind of just rolling along the spine as you try to, again, decongest all of that tissue that can sometimes get stuck. I will say, be careful of your hair and be careful of your shirt because they will get caught under that ball. And so we'll do 1 more. Inhale up and exhale down. Okay, so then we're gonna come all the way up. We're then gonna do the side of the body. And this is an area that we often forget. And so we're gonna lay on that ball, or again, lay on that foam roller. We're gonna start in that waistline area. And so I like to put my hand on this top rib cage, and I want you to think you're gonna inhale into the rib cage, and then exhale all the air out. And let your body melt into this ball. Inhale in, exhale out. And you can do 3 to 5 breaths here. Inhale in and exhale out. And then slowly press up. We're gonna lift the ball up and towards, now it's on the side of the rib cage. Again, you can lay all the way down or bring your hand around the top rib cage. And again, just think of inhaling in, exhale out. Inhale in, exhale out. We'll do one more breath, but you can do 3 to 5. Inhale in, exhale out. And then we're gonna press up. Now you're gonna bring it underneath that armpit. And this can sometimes be a tender area. So again, just try to relax as much as you can, using those breaths to really help bring oxygen into the cells of the body and releasing the tension in those muscles. So again, we're just gonna take a nice inhale in, exhale out. Inhale in, exhale out. And one more. Exhale out. And then we're just gonna come up and do the other side. So we'll again, we'll start in that waistline area. And so we'll have our hands on this rib cage, and we're just gonna take those breaths in and out. So think of inhaling in, exhale out, inhale in, exhale out, another inhale in, exhale out. We'll lift up, bring it around that rib cage. And then again, take our nice deep inhales and exhales. Exhale. Inhale in. Exhale out. And let's do one more deep breath in. And exhale out. And then we'll slowly come up, bring it now underneath that armpit area. And again, focus on your breathing, inhaling in, exhale out, inhale in, exhale out. And let's do one more deep breath in. And exhale out. And so then I like to focus a little bit on now the front of the body with this ball, but trying to breathe into the back of the body. And so you're gonna come kind of in this child's pose position and take your foam roller or a pillow or a ball and put it right where that diaphragm is, in between your chest and your thighs. You can reach your arms out. And then again, we're gonna take a couple breaths here. So you're gonna inhale in, exhale all the air out. And what we're focusing on is directing the breath to the back of the body. So think of inhaling into the back of the rib cage. Exhale all the air out. Take another deep inhale in. Exhale all the air out. And we'll do 2 more breaths here. Inhale in. Exhale all the air out. And last time, inhale in. And exhale all the air out. And then what you can do is even an added kind of diaphragm release, which I do not recommend doing this right after you eat, but it does feel really good if you feel like you're stuck in your upper kind of abdominal area. If you feel like you're an upper ab gripper or you have a rib flare, this is really good to do, as well as that back body breathing. But I typically like to just kind of lay over that ball. It's gonna be right below my sternum. And so, again, I just try to really focus and direct my breath, relaxing into this ball. So take a nice deep breath in. Exhale all the air out. Let's do 2 more. Inhale in. Exhale all the air out. And last time, inhale in. And exhale. And then you can slowly press all the way up. There's even more things that you can do with releasing the whole body. I tend to really like to focus a lot on the trunk of the body and on the hips on a regular basis, on a much more daily basis, but you can roll out all of the legs, the feet, the neck. There's so many options to do with that fascial release to get that body back into alignment, to rehydrate that connective tissue, and to bring more mobility and more nervous system reset to the body. On our on-demand library, we have a couple of videos that will actually run you through the full body system. So if you have any more questions, feel free to let us know. And we are happy that you are journeying with us on this holiday reset during this crazy busy season of life, and just allowing and giving yourself just 10 to 20 minutes a day to refocus on you, to reset that nervous system, so that way we can pour more into others and pour more into our lifestyle during the season. So thank you for being here and welcome to day 1. We are just getting started and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 2.